Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go!
One of my favorite guys to talk to, Brayden Lenius. Nice to interview you again, man. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me on. How you been?
I'm doing good. So you're in Texas. Tell me what you're doing down in Texas.
So a great opportunity through the CFLPA. I was able to get fortunate enough to get a scholarship to the Training Vision Academy down here in Crowley, Texas. So PA has wonderful benefits of empowering athletes, especially off the field. So took that opportunity, and I've been here the last 2 weeks completing my training. Our final test is tomorrow. Everything up to this point has been good. So it's just been a great experience, kind of doing something different that I haven't done yet, especially in my stage of my life. So it's cool to step outside of the sports realm and see different perspectives.
So that's a firefighters academy. What kind of testing will you take part in?
So the last 2 days were actual live burn simulations. So we were, extricating victims, fighting fire in live burn buildings, and then tomorrow is our final written test.
Oh, so what was the burn simulation like, so to speak?
It was crazy. Like Monday, we did our acclimation burn, and they got one of the rooms we were in to 1,200 degrees, and they cooked that thing out with flame all around us. It was really cool.
Yeah, so just
Really
talk about you use the word perspective. What kind of, that's an open-ended word. What kind of perspective do you have after doing something like that?
Just a newfound appreciation for what these first responders have to know and what the training entails, and kind of life outside of football too, right? Just kind of stepping out of all I've ever known as ball, and just doing something like this. I never thought I would do it, but now I'm here, and it's been tremendous. Just learning so much.
So you're an athlete. So when you make a decision, you go all in. So you're all in here. Is it
Yeah.
something now? Hey, I'd like to pursue this. This is something I want to do.
Yeah, no, 100%. Definitely. Obviously, I still got some more years left for playing football, but especially life after ball, having that smooth transition, getting towards the end of your career, I think is important. So you don't kind of have that, kind of stand still when you're trying to figure out who you are and what you want to do after, playing and, doing all that. So kind of just setting myself up for success.
Because of injury, you were away from the game.
Yeah.
What kind of perspective did that give you, Brayden?
It was tough. It taught me patience, man. It was a lot of questioning my ability and myself, especially, being able to be at home and watch my peers playing and knowing I could do what they do and be able to contribute, but it just wasn't my time. I wasn't ready. So kind of learning how to take a step back and kind of understand those things in life that they bring you, even though they're hard. You can't really see it in that moment, but when you get away from it and you kind of keep stacking those days and those months, and in December rolled around and BC called, and a couple other teams, it was kind of that reassuring of even though patience is hard, everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah, I was going to say I've heard that a lot. I've gone through some things too, and people say you are where you're supposed to be. Everything happens for a reason. At the start, I know for me at the start it didn't feel like that, and at the start you you question things. You're bitter. Why did this happen to me? How long did it take you to get out of that funk?
It was about a week or two. I kind of gave myself a little bit of a pity party. I think as any human should. And after that, I got back to work. I didn't stop. I was in the gym every day trying to get my foot right, physio, running, all the stuff I could do, and just stacking those days, man. And thankfully, things worked out, and I get another opportunity to show what I can do and contribute to a great organization like BC.
Yeah. So how is the foot feeling, Brayden?
The foot is feeling really good. It is starting to feel like myself again, which has been a long time coming. But I'm feeling really good and really confident going into camp this year.
So we just finished saying you are where you're supposed to be, or things happen for a reason. So let me ask you this, though. Maybe regret's not the right word, but do you regret going to the NFL? Because it didn't last that long. And you were cooking You were cooking. I was watching you up close. This guy's going to be an all-star. But then you put on weight to go kind of play that H-back tight end position. You only lasted 4 days. And then to me, I could be wrong, you just never got a chance to find your stride again. Do you regret going to the NFL?
No, not at all. Not at all. I know, in the past it's happened to some guys where you come back and things are not as smooth as it was prior to leaving. But I had to fulfill that dream for that kid in me that, aside from where I was at that point of, just at least trying, right? I think I would regret more not going if I were to stay. At least not trying, right? I tried my best. I tried it with the opportunity I was given. And that's just kind of how the dice rolls sometimes, right? So, no regrets there, because when I came back, yes, production wise, it was a little bit slow, but I was able to contribute in the community, kind of do things like that. And, it was a learning experience, but it was good. There's no regrets.
So was it a bittersweet end in Saskatchewan? Because you were very big in the community. You were a spokesperson. You were happy to be around there. I was with you on the radio a number of times raising money for the Ryder Foundation, but this is a cold business. A bittersweet end there in Saskatchewan?
Yeah, not bittersweet, but it was, I was more sad because, I spent a lot of younger years there, kind of growing up and maturing as a professional, and be able to contribute like that. It holds a place in my heart forever. And obviously that's where I was born too. Right. And so much family. So it was sad, but I mean, a little bit before that, I dealt with it in the NFL, right? It's a business. I was injured. I understood the business move. It wasn't no hard feelings, no, none of that. It was, I understand. It's just, things had to go in a different direction. So that's how it goes.
Well, I'm not going to tie you up too much because I know you got a busy day, an important day tomorrow. I do want to ask this though, as a guy that came back from the NFL, because I've seen a lot of guys come back and they're still talented dudes. You're a talented guy. I'm a big fan of yours. But Andy Fantus comes back, not quite the same. Nathan Rourke even, I think, came back and he wasn't quite the same. Is there a mental fog that you have to get around when you come back from the NFL? Because that is a dream. You want to be, that's the pinnacle of football. Even though, hey, this is a great league. I love the CFL. You love it too. Lots of top quality dudes playing in this league. But you want to be in the NFL and then it doesn't quite work out. Is there kind of a mental fog or malaise you got to get over when you come back to the CFL?
Yeah, for sure. I think when you go through those moments, I think you kind of question yourself as well. Like I said, even if you're injured, but in a situation like that, you kind of question, man, can I do this at a high level? Am I still able to compete well? And I think everybody's a little bit different given the certain different circumstances, but no, like it varies, right? And for me, it wasn't more of a mental fog. It was the weight. It was the weight because I left Saskatchewan that 2021 season at about 216, 218, and they wanted me at 240. So that was tough, and try to cut that much during a season when I came back to Saskatchewan. You don't want to do that because I would have gotten injured just shedding all that weight and stuff. So that was more of my battle, less of mental fog, more of a physical battle.
Yeah, kind of cool though. Hey, you and McInnes were in Saskatchewan. McInnes has a breakout year. That probably gives you a nice shot of optimism going into this situation with a great quarterback and a good head coach in Buck Pierce.
Yes, of course. And having familiar faces on a team like that, I was able to train with Rourke the past 3 years since 2022. So I've gotten to get some time with him, and obviously, like you said, Justin, one of my good friends that I've spent a lot of time with too, especially. So I'm excited, and it's at home now too, right? I'm kind of closer to home, right?
Yeah.
An hour and a half ferry ride from Victoria. So I'm really excited. Excited. Fresh start, clean slate.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
So you're ready to take off. And speaking of that, the foot injury sideline, something we were at a dinner at a Plaza of Honor dinner. We sat with each other, and I learned you have aspirations to be a pilot too, like you like to fly. But I imagine the foot injury kind of derailed that a little bit.
Yes, it did. Yeah, no, you got to get medical certifications to do all that, and I wasn't passing it with me not being able to walk for a little extended time, and so. Yeah. That'll resume down the road, but for now, I got a couple things to handle before that.
Yeah, so. No kidding. And what do you like about flying? What do you enjoy about that?
The freedom to be able to kind of just explore wherever you want, see things from a different perspective and different point of eye view, and and yeah, there's so many opportunities you can kind of get into with aviation as well. So there's numerous things that I enjoy.
Okay, lastly, you got
Yep.
the test coming up here. So what?
Yep.
How long's the test? Hour, 2 hours? What are we looking at here?
Not we have 4.5 hours. It's 225 questions, so it's
Oh, wow.
nothing too crazy, but it's gonna it'll take a little bit of time. But I'm excited. I'm confident. I learned a lot here, so I think I'll be okay.
Congratulations. I'm glad you're thriving once again and seeing a smiling face and looking forward to you kicking some ass in BC with the Lions. Take care, my friend. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Thanks for having me on, Michael.
All right, here with Lane Novak, White City kid. You live down the street from me. My son was in the combine with you. You guys, like he's a part-time neighbor of yours, I guess, or was, or whatever. It's kind of football's a small world, but the world's small in general.
It sure is, especially in Saskatchewan too. Yeah, pretty crazy. Same street there in White City.
Ethan said he was really impressed with he thought it would be the case, but he was really impressed with the Saskatchewan dudes, like the U of S Husky dudes. He thought you guys are all pretty good guys.
Yeah, I'd say that was the case with most of the combine though, especially like even just in Can West. It's that rivalry and it's so competitive in Can West, and then you all get together and we're sitting there having supper, and it's man, everyone was so nice, everyone was friendly. Like that was one of the coolest parts of the whole combine process was, and then yeah, sitting down to chatting with Ethan. I'd never actually met him before, and yeah, just drawing connections, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that is cool, right? It's like you talk to anybody, whether it's a grizzled pro or a guy in U Sports or junior, it's the locker room, it's the friendships, and it's now that you guys play U18 and all those type of things, even bitter rivals in the same city aren't rivals because you become friends, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you play against each other in high school, and then you end up on the same university team, or you're playing against each other at the Canada Cup, and then you end up on the same team, or you play with someone at a certain point in time, and then they go to a different university, and it's just, yeah, it's still everyone's kind of got that mutual respect to each other, and yeah, it's just a friendly community outside of the game.
Yeah. How cool was it for you? I met your dad, Peter. I know your mom, Leanne, but I talked to Peter for the first time at the combine there. How cool was it to be a local kid like my son, like, a couple of these Ram guys? I mean, I guess a couple of the Ram guys weren't local, but they were local in the fact that there was Regina Rams. But how cool was it for you to have your family be able to just drive down the street, basically, and come watch the combine?
Yeah, no, that was pretty special. The short drive for us to get down there, and then yeah, mom and dad being there the whole weekend, and not only that, but also some family members and friends on top of that, just being there the whole time. And while I was busy doing my own thing and pretty focused on the task at hand, just was awesome to sit down and hug them all at the end of it.
Was there an eye-opening experience for you, or did it pretty much go the way you thought, or was there anything that you didn't expect?
Oh boy. Definitely, yeah, I felt like I was definitely prepared for it and had an idea of what it was going to be like going in. I knew the competition was going to be great. Yeah, I knew that the players there were all going to be exceptional. But then, yeah, back to the friendliness of the guys, the friendliness of the CFL staff, the hospitality, and really just how well it was all set up. I wasn't totally sure going in on how smooth everything was going to run, and it was like top notch, top tier everything.
Yeah, I'm an advocate. Like in the NFL, they keep it in Indianapolis, right? I'm an advocate of keeping it in one spot, whether we pick a Winnipeg or a Regina, somewhere like that. I like Regina for the simple fact that they don't compete against the NHL, right? Like this time of year, you're competing. If you're in Winnipeg, it's against the Jets, or Edmonton, it's the Oilers, or Calgary, it's the Flames, and on and on and on. Regina's the only market without an NHL team because Hamilton's right by Toronto. Would you think that'd be kind of cool to have it in one spot every year, make it? Because a couple years ago, I don't know if a young Lane Novak would have remembered, but like in 2017, they had like a CFL week, and they had the combine there in Regina, and they made like a big event of it, like 3-4 days.
Yeah, that's interesting. Not something I never really thought of. I guess you're kind of focused on your own university careers, and then when the combine comes around. But But it was pretty cool. I had heard about the one in Regina prior to, where they made a whole big event out of it, and that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, selfishly, I guess for my teammates, it'd be nice to be in Regina every year. But yeah, then again, it's even the prior year in Waterloo out there, and like you said, you're kind of competing a little bit. But so there's lots of great facilities, and as long as you're getting indoors somewhere where there's a facility that you can make the most of the combine process and the practices at that time of year, then I think that's advantageous for everybody.
You were focused, I get it, but I got to ask you from this perspective, because I asked Tachinsky this, I had my son on, I asked him this. So you've put in all this effort. I'm assuming you worked out with the Lipinski at Ignite, and you're working out, and you're practicing maybe your interview routine, dressing in your finest, the testing and everything. But the damn thing's not streamed. Like, it's been streamed up until this year, and it wasn't streamed. I just wonder if that's a downer for, like, it was great. Fortuitously for our families, because we were right here in Regina, but suppose it was in Hamilton or Waterloo, your parents either would have had to pay money, just like I would have had to go watch it, or just text you later to find out, or watch the feed on CFL.ca. Is it kind of a downer because I think the Canadian football player, from the grassroots all the way up, is probably the most under-celebrated athlete in Canada. Do you agree with that statement? I guess that's how I'll word it.
Yes, and I'll kind of take that the whole broad spectrum in there too, and that I didn't know that they wouldn't be streaming it this year, and that's definitely something that even I know my grandparents would have loved to watch it and they couldn't be there, but I know that I got a lot of people supporting me that would love to be a part of it, or at least feel a part of it, in terms of the stream. Yeah. And obviously there's a lot more that goes into that. It's not my decision to make. It's not that simple, but that is definitely something that hopefully in future years to come, if they could keep the simplicity and keep the high level of the programs and everything that we went through, and the I guess even just the setup, I guess, of how the weekend went, and incorporate that and still have it streamed, then yeah. But in terms of, and then celebrating just grassroots players, that's people like me, I've kind of just gotten used to it not being like that almost. So definitely would be cool to see that part of the game grow in terms of the CFL.
It's a sad statement, because I think guys like Lane Novak, Seth Hundaby, name Jackson Tachinsky, like just pick these names, Boscheman, Finley, the list goes on and on. They deserve to be household names, because you guys have grinded and worked your ass off, and that helps build generation of fans. I think we're really missing out when we don't promote the Lane Novaks of the world. That's how I feel. I like Americans in the game, but Canadians are where it's at. They stay in our community, and people, Lane Novak wanted to grow up to maybe be a Mike McCullough. Now somebody wants to grow up to be a Lane Novak. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, and absolutely. There's a lot of truth in that, and within the CFL, and and thank goodness that rule is still there. It definitely brings the fans, and it definitely keeps people coming to the games. It definitely, it's cool to say, Jackson Finley from Western playing in Toronto or something like that, like local kid.
Yeah.
It's cool to hear that, and it brings fans to the games.
So, how were your interviews? How many did you have, and how did they go?
Yeah, I had 8 interviews. I thought they all went pretty well. Every team's a little bit different, obviously. And that second day, that Saturday, I had 6 of them in 4 hours, so it's a long day, especially after practicing the combine. But all in all, I thought they all went pretty well. I was happy with how they went, and I thought I represented myself well and spoke well. So I was, ultimately happy with how it all went.
Any weird questions for you?
Lots of teams, not a weird question. Lots of teams ask me if I know how to long snap, and definitely something that I actually started trying to learn in the last couple of weeks, because it's not something I'd done before. So trying to add that into my game. Odd questions, not really.
So who's helped you at long snap? Who's been teaching you or helping you along?
Yeah, so my teammate Jaden Angle, who's been our long snap on our team for I guess the past 4 years probably. And he's one of my best friends here, and I just reached out to him the one day, and I said, "Can you teach me how to long snap?" And then once he kind of showed me the basics of it, I've just been trying to work on it myself and figure it out, and it's it's just repetitions. But no, other than that, most of the questions were pretty basic, pretty simple.
Did you get the one that my son got this from 3 teams? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a kid? Do you have a kid on the way? Did you get any of those?
The girlfriend question for sure, and the Eastern teams all ask it because they want to know how willing you are to move. But yeah, no, not very many teams really ask that.
So you moved from White City to Saskatoon, so you moved away from home. It's still in the province. It's still a little bit of a drive away, but you're still within distance. What's your appetite? Like, what did you answer when they said, "Hey, would you move?"
Oh, I'm open to it. I've had the way I described it is both Coach Flory and Coach Musica, who are my 2 greatest mentors in the sport of football here. Coach Musica went out to Hamilton. Coach Flory went to Montreal and had successful careers. Both won Grey Cups out there and spoke super highly of the opportunity to move somewhere and get to experience something new, get to play for a team. So in the case of every team that I talked to, I said I would be more than willing and happy to move, anywhere in the province, or sorry, anywhere in the country.
In the country. So here's a big one, because I was talking to your dad, Peter, and he was saying that you still have some school to finish. So if you have to make a choice between PR, hopefully you make a squad, PR, go back to school, what would your choice be? Would you go back to school?
Yeah, so and I was very open to teams about this too, because that is a question that every team asks as well. I told teams that my current preference would be to go back to the U of S and finish my degree. I've only got like 7 classes left, but I also said that it would be a conversation between myself and the team, figuring out what's best for me, what's best for them. Am I the 10th guy on the PR? Am I the next guy up? I do think that going back to the U of S and finishing my degree, getting to play my 5th year would be an awesome opportunity and something I'd love to do. So that's why I say, I'd have a conversation with them when we make that decision.
Yeah, I wonder if it factors in different strokes for different folks. My son has a degree, you're just wrapping up your degree, so I get that mentality. But do you, in the back of your mind, are like, how are teams going to view this if I go back to school, if I pick school, or you don't really give a shit about that? School is the most important thing right now and getting that degree.
Yeah, and honestly, and actually the other way is that I've set myself up that no matter what, I'm going to finish my degree. If I do make a roster this year and I stay in that city, then I can come back to Saskatoon in the winter semester and take the rest of my classes in the wintertime, in which case I've just come back here, go to school, train with like Joel at Ignite there, and then go and keep playing football. So no matter what, I'm going to get my degree. It's either going to happen this next fall or it'll happen over the 2 winter semesters that follow.
Good Saskatchewan boy, it's an ag degree. What do you want to be like? What is that? I asked you before we rolled tape here. So hey, it sounds like it's a good degree. Like I got a broadcast diploma, so I knew what I was going to do. That was like the ag degree opened so much up. So why that degree, and what are you hoping to do after football?
Yeah, I guess first the why. So, and my dad, Peter, farmed for the entirety of my childhood, really. And so I kind of grew up going out there with him. And then in high school, I kind of worked there through most of my summers before football season. It is a little silly that harvest and football season are at the same time.
No kidding.
Because football always comes first. But no, really. And then that was part of the big reason why I went to the U of S was to be able to take agriculture. And it opens a lot of doors. My degree specifically is in agronomy, which is like plant and soil sciences. So if I could get a job as an agronomist first and kind of explore that, but then it really opens up to anything in that world. I could go be a farmer. I could go work at an agribusiness company. I could really work anywhere in the world with that degree. Yeah.
So you got farm farm boy toughness, like farm boy strength, right? Would that be the right way to put it?
I guess you could say that. That's that Saskatchewan grit or something, I guess. Yeah.
How did you figure, like, I talked about the interviews, how did you feel you did in testing? How did you feel you did on the field?
Yeah, and really I was happy with it all. When we got to the end of it and we were driving back to Saskatoon, we were just reflecting on it and just super happy with it in general. The combine day it's a lot. And it's a lot right there, and you feel a lot of pressure, but at the same time, we'd practiced a little bit going into it. We'd worked on it, and we'd figure that stuff out. And I was happy in general with how the testing day went. Yeah, happy with my numbers. That's what I had to give on that day. And then the practices, I thought were probably one of my best parts of the whole weekend. Just being able to compete, showing some of my skills and really just playing ball. That's the best part of it.
That is the best part of it. And when you got, I asked Tachinsky this, when you got on the field, did you sense like those were the top players in Canada right there? Like it had to be a proud moment to be on that field. Like there was no, I'm watching from above, there was no bad football player on that field.
Yeah, and it's impressive, especially with this class that I'm a part of. Because of the way COVID worked out, there's guys from 2019, 2020, and 2021 all in that class, and it's all the best of them. And we show up on the field, and really we only see the ones from Can West and maybe a few more. But it's when it's all the best ones from Can West, and then you're competing against other guys too from across the country. It's evident there's some good football players out there.
Yeah. And what was it like rubbing shoulders with some of the guys maybe you watched on TV, like O'Shea or Dickinson or Huffnagel or Killam or, I mean, the list go, Bob Dice, Jason Moss, those kind of guys?
Man, all of them. It's cool, too, because you're not, other than the interviews, like after you meet with them in the interviews, then become a little bit friendlier and you kind of chat with them a little more afterwards. Before that, you kind of try and focus on like kind of what you're doing and doing what you can the best of it, but when they're all standing around, it's pretty cool. They all got their notepads out, and even if they say like we're not evaluating this period, they're evaluating that period. So and then even like Nick Lewis walked on the field this Sunday there, and I was like, no way. And so I went up and talked to him quickly too before I left. But
that's awesome. So do you think you did enough to get drafted?
I hope so. I hope so. I think so. I'm just hoping I gave a team a good enough reason to take a chance on me.
So where are you going to, in a couple of weeks, what are you going to be doing on draft day? Are you going to be sitting watching it somewhere? Or I know it's not all broadcast, which is another pet peeve of mine, but it is from after round number 2. I mean, they got 5 channels and they can't do the whole thing. It's a joke if you ask me. But anyway, the later rounds are streamed. And it'll be on CFL.ca. Where are you going to spend your night? What are you going to be doing?
Yeah, still kind of hashing it out a little bit. I talked to Seth and Daniel today about trying to do something all together, which kind of rules out somebody's house, because by the time you get everybody's families and all our mutual friends and all that stuff, it's a pretty big group of people. So I know there's a couple of options in Saskatoon, and we'll probably go somewhere to watch it. Definitely just spend it with family, spend it with friends. I've had the opportunity of past teammates going through this process. Dayton Black in particular. Where I was sitting right beside him when he got his name called with his family, and I was able to there as a friend. So just really spend it with those people.
Well, my girlfriend bought a 77-inch TV to watch it, and stream it. So I don't know if we're gonna we're gonna be the only street where 2 guys hopefully get drafted. Knock on wood.
That'd be pretty crazy. Two guys from the same street.
Yeah, would that be cool? We could have our own party in the summer or something whatever. I don't know. Anyway, hey man, it's great to talk to you. You're a great football player, but even a better person. And I'll be cheering for you on draft day and then training camp. The key is, doesn't matter where you get drafted. You just got to go to training camp and stay healthy. That's the key.
Absolutely, and compete, pursuit of the ball, and just do everything you can. Try and stay healthy.
All right, man. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, Ballsy.